Sustainable development is to develop society and your organizations so that they are not unsustainable. Sustainability was a completely irrelevant term until mankind began to make this system unsustainable. So what does unsustainable mean? It means a world that will gradually lose resource potential to sustain civilization. The end point is a sort of republic of grass and insects, and preceded by barbarism, when we are so poor and so tormented by climate change and toxicity and eroding resource potential to produce food, that it will be impossible to sustain the social contract, and barbarism will precede the collapse of the situation. And this has happened over and over again in history on small islands where people couldn't escape when they had destroyed their own habitats. And now this is happening on a global scale. So sustainable development means to reverse that. One organization after the other, gradually making themselves part of the solution rather than the problem. Once you can define sustainability for the whole biosphere, it's much easier to understand your own context in that, and then gradually approach being part of the solution rather than the problem. The first sustainability principle is that when the world is sustainable, mined materials that we dig out from the Earth's crust, are no longer systematically increasing in concentration in natural systems. Today they are. We'd never say that we have that flaw of design of society, but in fact we do. Instead we say fossil CO2, phosphates in lakes, cadmium in kidneys, and so forth and so on. It only means that our relationship with mined materials is such that we allow mined materials to increase as waste in the system, and that is inherently unsustainable. The second principle is that when the world is sustainable, chemicals too have stopped to systematically increase in concentration. Today we have that flaw of design as well in our companies and in our municipalities, but we rarely talk about that. Instead we say PCB, DDT, dieldrins, endocrine disruptors, dioxins, anti-inflammables, and maybe sometimes we say bad luck. Who could foresee that this chemical would be banned soon? Well, we could, because if we manage chemicals such that they increase in concentration by asking the wrong questions, we are part of the problem and we will have to face the economic consequences. The third principle is that society is also organized such that we systematically erode or destroy natural systems physically with tools, not only polluting them from the two first principles, but with tools, encroaching more and more on natural areas by over-harvesting or putting asphalt on fertile land, or flawed ways of harvesting forests or cropland, allowing groundwater tables to sink more and more and more, and so forth and so on. And the fourth principle is that we are eroding trust between people and their institutions. We don't trust our institutions anymore, and therefore we don't trust each other anymore globally. And that erosion of trust is erosion of the key element of the social system that keeps us together as a society. At a time when we need a functional social system more than ever to deal also with the ecological problems, we need trust. So in the future, we have trust between people and between institutions because we deserve it.